Hello, I'm Dr. Hacksmith, and this is my second C++ programming tutorial. I'm sorry about my stuttering on the last episode, but tutorial. We did basic output last time, and this time we're going to be doing some input, so that we can essentially get the user's input and print it back to them. We're going to be using cin, and we're also going to be using variables, which will also be explained in this tutorial. So we're just going to create a new project, just call it input, and just console application. Okay, so as before, we're going to include iostream for the standard namespace. This time we're just going to use namespace because it's just easier. Following the steps that I had on the last tutorial, you can exclude using namespace std and just use std followed by two colons. So we're just going to go int main again, and we're going to say enter a string. Okay, so we're going to declare a variable, which would be string, then the name of the variable, which will be used when we're referencing and changing values. So we'll just call it input. Other valid data types are for example, is int, double. Let's see, character. There's a lot of them. You can just Google it. We're going to use cin. So you will notice that we use the different direction operators, and we're going to reference the name of the variable. We're going to use cin, remembering semicolons. Then once that's done, once they've pressed enter, you can just start a new line and say, okay, this is where we get to use not only printing but also printing a variable at the same time. So you entered, leaving a space so that the next thing will be, a space. You can just do separate lines, but this is a better way. You just go input. Notice that we're not using speech marks or quotation marks because because we're not printing a string, we're printing a variable, or we're referencing one. And then, or you can do that, or you can just do this. And remember to either use cin.get, or you can be a bit risky and use system pause. System pause is just no, but you can. It's not. The main point is it's not multi-platform, so you won't be able to use it if you want to compile the same code on Linux. If you want to compile the same code on Macintosh, so you just want to cin.get, which will get input, but it won't save it anywhere. It's sort of like if you were speaking to someone who wasn't gonna record the info, and this person wasn't going to actually store it anywhere, so you're just sort of talking to a wall. And we just want to end the main function off. We can compile it and run it. Enter a string, which we do. Seems I've run into a problem. This happens sometimes. I'm not sure what's with my computer when it does this, but you can just swap it for pause. It's really up to you. Okay, and it will. I'll do it again. It will simply say what we said. I'm just gonna quickly turn that to null so you can. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to quickly do one more thing. When you change it to an integer value or an int, the input can only be integer, which means if someone enters a string value, for example, and not an integer, then it will close. So you want to be careful when you're using. So if we use a instead, it will just say some, it won't print a, it will print an integer instead. But if we enter an integer, it will print an integer. So just be careful when you're using that. The only time I really use integer for user input, not when I'm actually doing something with integers like swapping around values and things. The only time I use it is when I'm doing mathematics challenges or something like that. Any other times, like pretty much anything else, I just use strings because it won't return something insane. Alright, so I hope you've enjoyed.